Welcome to this special fifth episode of the Formula One podcast, the Pitwall Pod, where we take a deep dive into the 3-day preseason testing that took place in Bahrain from February 26 to 28, 2025. Preseason testing is a crucial time for teams to prepare for the upcoming season, refine their cars, and gather data that will help them take informed decisions for the races ahead. Let's let's explore the biggest takeaways, performances, and the surprises that came out of the Bahrain test. Let's get started. Day 1, February 26, a strong start. The first day of testing was filled with excitement as all 10 teams hit the track to assess their new cars. The weather in Bahrain was perfect for testing, clear skies and warm temperatures that gave teams a solid environment to work in. As the day unfolded, McLaren's Lando Norris emerged as the surprise leader, setting a blistering time of 1:30.430 seconds, marking the fastest lap of the day. Norris' performances on the opening day was a clear indication that McLaren's improvements were starting to show, and his confidence was evident as he dominated the timesheets. Behind Norris, Mercedes' George Russell was hot on his heels, recording a time of 1:30.587, a mere fraction behind. Russell and the Mercedes team were eager to assess the updates they had made to the W16, and it seems those changes had paid off. The car looked stable and balanced, something that will be crucial for the new season. Not to be outdone, Red Bull's reigning world champion Max Verstappen continued to show why he is the man to beat. Finishing in third place, just 0.2 seconds behind Russell, Verstappen was closely followed by Ferrari's Charles Leclerc, who appeared comfortable in the SF25. Leclerc's times were consistent and the Ferrari looked fast, which set the stage for what would become a thrilling week for the Scuderia. One of the highlights of day one was the performance of Mercedes rookie Andrea Kimi Antonelli, who impressed many by securing the seventh fastest time. The 18-year-old's drive was calm and controlled, and he showed that he's capable of stepping up when needed, a good sign for Mercedes' future prospects. Day 2, February 27, Science shines. The second day of testing saw the weather remain favorable, though light cloud cover rolled in during the afternoon, which provided teams with the perfect conditions to test both performance and durability under various circumstances. This time it was Williams' Carlos Sainz who stole the spotlight, topping the timesheets with a remarkable lap of 1:29.348 seconds. His performance on day two was a clear sign that Williams' package for 2025 is a step in the right direction, and Sainz's driving was flawless. His ability to extract the maximum performance from the car will give the team confidence heading into the season. Ferrari's Lewis Hamilton, driving for the Scuderia for the first time in a preseason test, put in a solid performance. He finished in second place, just 0.031 seconds behind Sainz. Hamilton was all smiles after the session, stating that he was really enjoying his new Ferrari and felt that the SF25 was more balanced and responsive compared to his previous car, the Mercedes W15. It's clear that Hamilton has adapted well to his new team, and his feedback on the car has been positive. Behind Sainz and Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, still eager to get the most out of the SF25, shows his consistency. By finishing third, Leclerc's time were strong, and there was little to suggest that Ferrari would be anything other than a contender this season. This was further confirmed by Leclerc's comments during the test, praising the car's handling and overall feel. Despite some challenging conditions early in the day, with a light rain shower briefly halting proceedings, The teams got back on track quickly and were able to complete their test programs without any significant delays. The rain didn't affect the overall pace too much, but it did give teams the chance to evaluate the car performance in wet conditions. The day wasn't without an incident, though at one point the testing was halted for a few minutes after an unexpected issue on track, an eye injury to Sauber driver Nico Hulkenberg. Thankfully, Hulkenberg was okay and testing continued shortly after. Day 3, February 28th, Russell concludes testing with a bang. The final day of preseason testing was critical for teams looking to solidify their setups before the season opener in Melbourne. The Bahrain International Circuit offered perfect conditions with temperatures rising, making it ideal for long runs and race simulations. Mercedes' George Russell set the fastest time of the day on day 3, recording a lap of 1:29.545. His performance was particularly noteworthy as he showed that Mercedes' development from 2024 to 2025 has paid off. Russell has always been a highly competitive driver, and it was clear that his consistency and adaptability were helping Mercedes take strides towards a more competitive car. Behind Russell, Red Bull's Max Verstappen was again showed his dominance, finishing just 0.02 seconds behind the Mercedes driver. Red Bull seems confident that they have found the right balance in their car, and Verstappen's feedback was crucial to fine-tuning the RB21 for the upcoming season. McLaren's Oscar Piastri and Williams' Alex Albon completed the top five, with both drivers showing impressive pace in their respective team cars. Piastri in particular was a standout as he continued to show that McLaren is in the hunt for podium finishes this year. Unfortunately, the day wasn't entirely smooth. The session was briefly halted after a random bus drove onto the track. While this was a rather odd occurrence, it was quickly addressed by the marshals and testing resumed soon after. Despite the delays, the teams managed to complete their planned runs without significant interruptions. Key takeaways from Bahrain testing. Mercedes progress. Mercedes seems to have made significant strides in improving the car for 2025, with George Russell and Andrea Kimi Antonelli showing strong performances. It's clear that Mercedes could be a serious challenger this season. Hamilton's adaptation to Ferrari could also shake up the grid in ways we haven't seen before. Ferrari looks strong. With Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton in the mix, Ferrari looks like a strong contender for 2025. The SF25 seems balanced and capable of fighting for podiums, and Hamilton's comments about enjoying the car provide an encouraging outlook. Red Bull remains fast. Max Verstappen and Red Bull are still the team to beat. The defending champions showed consistency and reliability even when the others were pushing their limits. McLaren's steady progress. McLaren seems to have moved in the right direction. Lando Norris' pace was impressive, and Oscar Piastri's consistency also stood out. If McLaren can continue to improve, they could be right in the mix for podiums. Williams reassurance. Williams has a strong showing, with Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon both improve pressing. This is a good sign for the team as they look to close the gap to the front runners. Technical challenges. While most of the issues during testing were minor, such as a power cut and brief track interactions, the occasional glass incident did remind everyone of the unpredictable nature of the motorsport. Looking ahead, as we head into the 2025 season, pre-season testing in Bahrain has offered a lot of insight into the form of each team. While the testing times are not always an accurate predictor of race results, it's clear that Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull will be the teams to watch, with McLaren and Williams showing promise. The grid looks set for an exciting season ahead. Fans can't wait to see how the first race in Melbourne will unfold on March 16. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Formula One podcast, the Pitwall Pod. Make sure to subscribe to stay updated with all the latest news, in-depth analysis, and race previews as the 2025 Formula One season unfolds. We'll be back soon with more insights.